So Amir Khan takes to Twitter yesterday, basically tweeting that he would be happy, ecstatic, glad to fight Miguel Cotto at a catchweight at 155 pounds for the WBC middleweight title that he took off of Sergio Martinez. And I think this is an excellent fucking fight. It's a great fight for 2015 if they can make it happen this year. And it's also a great fight that can be used as a measuring stick, um, basically letting us know where Miguel Cotto is at and also where Amir Khan is at. Now, honestly, I really don't have any questions about Amir Khan. I mean, he beat Devin Alexander, a fight that I thought he was going to lose. I think I had Devin Alexander winning by a close unanimous decision. I believe that was my prediction. I can't remember. My video is still up on YouTube, though. But he impressed me in that fight. So I really don't have any questions about Amir Khan's ability. But I do about Miguel Cotto's. Miguel Cotto, he looked decent against Floyd Mayweather. At that time, the opponents that Floyd Mayweather was fighting, with him added to that, including him in that block of opponents at that time frame, he did better than the rest of them, but he was still dominated. And the way he was dominated, it was kind of like, Miguel Cotto, I don't know, right? He fights Austin Trout. He looks like he needs to retire after that fight. Comes back, fights Delvin Rodriguez. A lot of people were excited for that win. I wasn't, because I knew the caliber of opponent Delvin Rodriguez was. He's not very good. He's probably a C to C plus class fighter. Um, Miguel Cotto is Hall of Fame status. He's fought a lot of different fighters over the years who are also Hall of Fame status. So Delvin Rodriguez is just a tune-up, and that's exactly how he won the fight, as if he was a tune-up. So that didn't really impress me. And then also him beating, Sergio Martinez, though it was a monumental win for him and his Puerto Rican heritage, being one of the only Puerto Rican to win titles in 4 different weight classes, it still has an asterisk on the win because the Sergio Martinez he fought was about 3 years removed from the Sergio Martinez that would have mattered had he had won against that one. I mean, he came into the fight crippled. Shit, 2 years before that fight, he fought a Martin Murray, and a lot of people thought he lost that fight. He didn't look good against Darren Barker. I mean, he is about 2, 3 years removed from the Sergio Martinez that we knew and talked about synonymously with Pacquiao and Floyd Mayweather as being the top 3 fighters in the world. He definitely wasn't that fighter anymore. So I wasn't impressed by that win either. But if he were to go in here and fight an Amir Khan, right, and win, it would be, for me anyway, I would say, given how Amir Khan has performed in his last his last matchup with Devin Alexander, I would say, yeah, he's still good enough to fight. He's got a lot left in the tank. It'd be a good measuring stick for me. Um, he's fought guys that have Amir Khan's speed and Zab Judah and Shane Mosley and won those fights in the past. Um, Zab Judah has Amir Khan's boxing ability. He doesn't always do it because he's a fucking head case, but he has the ability to box like Amir Khan, and I think against Miguel Cotto, he was trying to do that. Miguel Cotto overwhelmed him. That's how he beat him. So basically, what I'm saying is the past Miguel Cotto, I think he'd possibly knock Amir Khan out. Probably would knock Amir Khan out, but definitely win a easy unanimous decision. So if he were to go in here and fight this Amir Khan and possibly get dominated, we know right then and there it's time for him to retire, right? If he loses, probably time for him to retire still. This is a fight that he would have probably easily won in the past. Um, but Miguel Cotto recently, man, he's been acting like a little bitch. And I'm going to be real. This is real talk. He's been acting like a little bitch. You know what I'm saying? I think he should have made the negotiations um, stick with Canelo. He was bitching about money. He's thinking that he's one of the premier pay-per-view type fighters in boxing. And I'm going to make this shit clear, man. A lot of motherfuckers is not getting the information right. The only premier pay-per-view fighter in boxing right now, premier meaning this motherfucker makes money every single pay-per-view. It's not a situation where we look at his pay-per-view numbers and we're like, oh, damn, he might not make that much money because he has to give a lot of his money to the promoters, or it's not enough money that came in from pay-per-view buys because a lot of his expenses that needs to go to his team, by the time he gets his hand on his cut, it ain't gonna be that much. The only fighter where we don't say that shit about, or who we don't say that about, is Floyd Mayweather. Not even Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao's last fight against Chris Algieri only did 300,000 pay-per-view buys. Not enough. Especially with Bob Arum being his promoter and sucking his ass dry. Not enough, right? You know what I'm saying? So the only premier pay-per-view guy in boxing is fucking Floyd Mayweather. And Miguel Cotto is acting as if he's one of those guys. Shit, Canelo is too. That's why they made this deal talking about, telling the fans, yeah, Canelo's next 3 fights are going to be all pay-per-view, but this motherfucker don't have the draw. Shit, one of his first 3 against Erislandy Lara didn't have the draw, so they had to put this shit on TV. You know what I'm saying? Couldn't live up to the promise. And that's Miguel Cotto. You fight on TV, bro. You're not a pay-per-view star. So you're not gonna bring in, 40 million off one fight. It's not gonna happen, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're not gonna get that type of money. So the money that they were giving him, Golden Boy was offering for Canelo, he should have took that shit. You know what I'm saying? But he didn't. Negotiations cut off. You know what I'm saying? And then on top of that, he relinquishes his WBC middleweight title. Now, 2 things. Actually, 3. Number 1, if he did it because he has no intention on fighting Gennady Golovkin, then I commend him for that. Because he outwardly said, I'm scared. I'm a bitch. I'm not fighting him. I'm relinquishing my title, right? That's 1. 2, he didn't have any plans on being a middleweight fighter. That would alleviate him from being a bitch to wanting to fight, not wanting to fight Golovkin. He just wanted to go up, do a monumental win, be the first Puerto Rican to win win a title in 4 different weight classes, and then he did that, and now he's done, kind of like what Roy Jones did to be one of the first middleweights to win the heavyweight title. Beat Ruiz and then go back down. I mean, that's cool. That relinquishes him of being a bitch for not fighting Gennady Golovkin, right? So that's fine. I commend him for that. 3, he could have been doing it so he can get the fight with Floyd Mayweather. I don't see why he would have to relinquish his title to get a fight with Floyd Mayweather, because they're talking about possibly if Floyd Mayweather and Manny Pacquiao don't get this fight rolling for May 2nd, that his opponent will most likely be a rematch against Miguel Cotto. And I hope to fucking God that shit doesn't happen. That's why I hope, or I wish, that this fight could have came to fruition. It looks as if Amir Khan is only willing to fight Miguel Cotto for that WBC middleweight title. Cotto's already relinquished the title, so that's not gonna. They wouldn't fight for that. Hopefully, maybe Amir Khan is still open for it. He really doesn't have any other opponents. You know what I'm saying? Granted, there are a lot of motherfuckers he could fight in his division. He could fight a Sean Porter. I mean, he could fight, Miguel Cotto. Manny Pacquiao and Mayweather don't happen. He could fight Pacquiao, possibly get the Mayweather fight, which is what he's waiting on. That's why he's pretty much been inactive once again, putting his career on fucking hold. I mean, he definitely can fight Kell Brook, and that's the fight I think he needs to fight if he doesn't get Mayweather or Cotto. Um, they're talking about that fight being at the end of the year after he does Ramadan, I think in July or something like that. I'm not sure, but the Khan Brook fight being at the end of the year. Plus, Brook is getting ready to fight somebody in his next fight real soon. So, I mean, he really doesn't have. He has options, but he's acting like he doesn't have options because he wants the Mayweather fight. But man, this fight right here, if it could take place, fuck the WBC strap. Just fight. Don't even have to fight at 155 because it looks like Cotto's coming back down, possibly the junior middleweight. So shit, they could fight there. 152 catch weight. You know what I'm saying? That would be an excellent fight. What do you guys think? Do you think Amir Khan would give Miguel Cotto problems? In my opinion, I think Amir Khan would give Miguel Cotto a lot of problems because I really believe that Cotto is not the same fighter that he was in the past. Even in the Antonio Margarito rematch, he still didn't look that great. I mean, um, Margarito was actually coming on in the second half of that fight, but his eye was too fucked up. Looked like he had a fucking alien sitting on his face. So if that wouldn't have happened, that fight could have had a different outcome. Who knows? But like I said, I don't think Miguel Cotto is the same fighter. I think Amir Khan would give him problems. What do you guys think? Do you like this fight? Do you want it to happen? Are you waiting on Amir Khan, Floyd Mayweather? Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Miguel Cotto relinquishing that title too, man. I think it was a dumb move, but do what you do in the comments section. Be real. This is real talk for real fans. One.